Happy Sunday, folks. Do another update real quick. So this week obviously was Fair Week. Hope everybody got out there and had a good time. We were able to go out and open the rodeo at 6 on Friday, so all three of us commissioners were out there for that. Um, they didn't make us speak or ride any bulls. We just stood there and really thank all the volunteers that make the fair happen every year. The camp, or not the campground, the fairground volunteers do an amazing amount of work, and it's all in their spare time, sometimes using their own heavy equipment. So they really make that thing happen every year. So, and the fair is an important part of our community, of course. It's these days a lot of technology, a lot of indoors. For some kids, it's going to be the main experience they have with animals. We've got all kinds of livestock out there for the fair, and it might be the spark that gets kids interested in that sort of thing. And without future ranchers and farm workers, we don't get to eat. So it's very important we provide those opportunities for exposure and, of course, to eat cotton candy and take rides. Uh, let's see, we got a little bit this month, July, is parole and probation recognition month. So went and joined parole and probation for some pizza, and yeah, just got to know everybody, talked about what their day job is like. At some point I'll probably do a ride along with one of them. But yeah, it's another critical part of our community. Unfortunately, we've got a lot of people in that system. But I've also seen a lot of people come out of that system living a better life. So it's important that it be there. We've got some work we're doing around coordinated software. I might have mentioned this before, actually, but cities of Coos Bay, North Bend, Bandon, along with the county, have two pieces of software that we're working on getting together to integrate on our planning side, or not necessarily the planning, but the codes. It's easier to look up the codes by clicking on the piece of property. And from there, I'm talking with some folks to hopefully, as that moves down the road, also discuss commonality of planning, so that if you know how to build in one city, you know how to build in not just one city, but more of the cities in Coos County, and on Coos County's land itself, within the restrictions that the state imposes upon our development on county lands, as it differs from cities. Folks may have seen there's a special session coming up for transportation bill consideration. It's going to be August 29th. I checked with the Association of Counties and some other folks. It sounds like by the time this session happens, August 29th, there's going to be probably all the cards will have been stacked in the background before it happens. So there's not I was advised it might not be the best use of my time to drive up there to attend the meeting and provide testimony in person, because decisions are probably going to be made by the time that meeting happens to secure enough votes to make whatever they're putting forward pass. I don't know that anybody's actually seen it yet. Let's see. Some stuff around timber. You'll probably hear me talk about this more, or you'll see it in the community. It came up at a meeting this week. So timber is a big part still of our local economy and our county's budget. There's O&C land, federal land gets harvested. This year, the federal government has made three different plays at either reducing that money or fully keeping all of it. We had the discontinuation of the Secure Rural Schools Act, which didn't impact us. We were already on timber receipts, so we got an amount of money based on what the feds cut, but it did create a problem for some other counties. And for context, money from the O&C lands in this last budget cycle was $1.5 million. And if you might remember, the deficit we went into that budget with was $1.8 million. So if that 1.5 went away, we're well over a $3 million deficit instead of the 1.8 we had to seal up. And we did seal up. After the SRS, there was an executive order increasing timber production, which face value sounds like it might be good for our timber money. Unfortunately, it included something, the Good Neighbor Clause, which increases the amount of money the feds and the state get to keep without benefiting or possibly damaging county budgets in terms of what they receive. And that was 2 as a pattern, or I'm sorry, yeah, 2 is a coincidence, 3 is a pattern. In the budget that just passed, the federal budget, it included a part where the feds keep all of our O&C money. So that's hopefully going to get corrected, or they'll do something with secure rural schools to make a change there. But as it stands right now, the federal government's gotten its way, and they'll be keeping money as it goes into the future unless it changes. So in the case of last year, it would have taken our deficit from a $1.8 million deficit to a, $3.3 million deficit. So we're hoping that changes. I'm talking to some folks. I talked with one of our state senators today. But like I've told people, it doesn't matter what party somebody's in, they can come after your money. And in this case, yeah, we've got that problem. The mental health agreement with the state, no real progress. I'm told that they've only dug their heels in more. So I'm going to be starting to get included in the emails between the state and the Association of Counties to basically be involved and then provide input where I need to provide input, and probably also provide some input where they prefer I not provide input. So that's a thing. And I kind of blazed through a bunch of this. And that gets us to something a little more broad. This week I had a meeting with somebody that's thinking about running for commissioner. We have 2 seats that are going to come up. I don't know if my colleagues are running or not. And then we've also got runs coming up for legislative positions within the state. And I don't know if those folks are running either. But if folks are interested in running, I'm happy to talk to anybody that's thinking about running, talk to them about what it's like, what concerns they have, what if those concerns are founded, or if they might not be a real big deal in the grand scheme of things. And I don't care if it's somebody that necessarily agrees with me or not on a number of things. I would say that the person I met with this week probably is around people that don't agree with me as much, or at least some people that don't. But I'm happy to talk to anybody about what the details of the job are, what it's like, because the most important thing is that you know what you're getting into and know that you're going to be at least somewhat happy doing the job. The worst thing is if you get in, you win the election, and then realize you don't like being a commissioner or a House rep or a state senator. That would really suck for whoever won that one. As it relates to parties, like I said, if somebody doesn't agree with me, that's fine too. It creates more discussion. And you get a better product when people have to actually debate the subject, not just, check mark everything. But in some of the talks I've been having about the issues we're facing, party gets brought up. It was brought up in a meeting this week when I pointed out something that's been broken. It was, this is what happens because of Democrats leading things. So I've been going through some data, and it's a problem when we try and reduce it to a single party, because there are other factors at play. Some folks have known I've been talking about some statistics around youth, education, mental health, and I wanted to pull 3 examples out of some of the data I've been working with just to illustrate this problem. So if we look at, I pulled some data from Wallet Hub's 2025 study on school districts. Basically, they're looking at where should people actually want to go for educating their kids and this sort of thing. In their top 5, 4 Democratic states, 1 Republican. So it's not one party. And at the bottom, 2 Democratic states and 3 Republican. Still not one party. Oregon, unfortunately, ranks 47th, so we're not doing very good on that particular measure. But the importance is it's not one party. When we look at mental health use, substance use for the youth, areas that are doing the best, states that are doing the best, 3 out of 5 are Republican. Doing the worst, also 3 out of 5 somehow. So not one party is solving this thing. Oregon on that one ranks 48th. And of course, when I say 3 out of 5, that means 2 out of 5 were Dems on both measures, counts. And then the last one was mental health, adult substance use. All 5 out of 5 at the top are doing the best are Republican. And for the worst, it is 4 out of 5 are Dems, with the 5th one being Alaska in dead last place, and Oregon ranking 46th. So just emphasizing for folks, a party doesn't actually tell you that much in terms of what's actually going to get done. We've got states of one party at the top and the same party at the bottom, and it doesn't matter which party it is. The same thing proves true in almost all of these. There's no uniform top-bottom by party. So we have to look at more than just that. We're looking at people. So please research the candidates as we move forward too. For commissioners, you're not going to see their party on their ballot. On the ballot, it's not going to show what party the person is in. But when you look at House reps, state reps, or senators, those will show you a party, but that doesn't tell you who the person is or if they'll do a good job. We got to look farther than that. And that's everything I got. Again, if folks are thinking about running for anything, I'm happy to talk with them. I've been a city councilor and commissioner now, and been around a lot of the other positions, so just give a holler if you got a question. I'm happy to talk to anybody, and we will see everybody later. Bye.